Hello everyone, welcome back to our discussion on class Aves. In the last session we discussed about the salient features of class Aves, and today we are going to see about the classification of this particular class. Class Aves is subdivided into two subclasses, Archaeornitis and the other one which consists of the extinct bird, and Neornitis, which consists of the present day birds. So the two subclasses are namely Archaeornitis and Neornitis. The subclass Neornitis is again divided into two super orders. They are Paleognathae, which includes the flightless birds, and Neognathae, which includes the flying birds. So we are going to see this particular classes and their examples. So the first one is the subclass Archaeornitis. In subclass Archaeornitis, there are two genera, or it comprises two genera. As we said, they are entirely extinct birds and comprises two genera, namely the Archaeopteryx and Archaeornis. These are the two genera which belong to the subclass Archaeornitis. Coming to the salient features of the subclass, all the members of the subclass are extinct and they lived in the Mesozoic era, which is believed to be the golden age of reptiles. They had poor flight, or the power of flight was very poor. They had a long tail and with primitive wings. The forelimbs were provided with claws. The teeth were present on the jaws. Then Amphisealer's vertebra. We discussed in the earlier class or earlier session that Aves usually have a heterocoelous vertebra, but here they are having an Amphisealer's vertebra. The keel as well as the pygostyle. Keel is the extension of the sternum for the attachment of the flight muscle that is absent in them because they are having poor flight or poor ability to fly. And pygostyle, which is the fused, the posterior portion of the caudal vertebra, that is also absent in them. The ribs are without the uncinate process. The uncinate process is the extension or towards the posterior region of the an extension of the rib bone that is seen usually in birds but absent in the case of this extinct birds, which comes under subclass Archaeornitis. So coming to the example under this subclass is Archaeopteryx, the extinct bird. So coming to Archaeopteryx, you can see the extinct bird. Only the fossils of this particular group is available, and all the descriptions or all the details which we are going to see is from this particular fossil evidences. And there are many pictures. The picture that you saw here in this particular thing, this picture is a diagrammatic representation. Actually, such a particular bird is not being obtained as a fossil. Fossil record is how you see in this particular diagram. It is from this particular types of fossils such data was obtained regarding the particular group which is called as the Archaeopteryx. So Archaeopteryx is an example that we are going to see under subclass Archaeornitis. So this is a fossil bird which is having the size of a crow, and the fossil was discovered from Germany, which is dated back to the Jurassic period. It exhibited both the major feature or the major characteristic feature of Archaeopteryx is that it exhibits both avian as well as reptilian features, and hence it is considered to be a connecting link because they are having or they show both the features of two phyla or two neighboring classes, which is class Aves and class Reptilia. They are considered to be a connecting link between these two classes. Coming to the reptilian features so we'll be seeing the reptilian features as well as the avian features of Archaeopteryx. Coming to the reptilian feature, presence of a long tail and unfused caudal vertebra. So when we studied the salient features of or discussed the salient features of class Aves, we saw that the tail bones they do not have a very long caudal vertebra. The caudal vertebra is shorter than that of reptiles, which were fused at the posterior end, forming a pygostyle. But here all the caudal vertebra, they are unfused. That means they are not like that of normal birds, that means a present day birds. They are having unfused caudal vertebra and presence of a very long tail. A very long tail in the sense the present day birds do have long tail, but that extension is of their feathers. The feathers or the length of the feathers, we consider it as the length of the tail. Actually, the vertebra, it is what we are talking about here is the length of the vertebra. So the caudal vertebra is short in normal or the present day birds, and from that region bigger feathers arise, what we consider it as tails. But when you come to reptiles, in reptiles they are having a very long caudal vertebra, and that is a feature that is seen in Archaeopteryx. And they are having homodont teeth on the jaws, which is not a feature of birds. Birds are having a beak without teeth. So here they are having the jaws or the modified jaws, which are the beak-like, and they are having teeth in them, which are homodont. That is also a reptilian feature. Then absence of pneumatic bones, because they didn't have the ability to fly. As a result, they do not have the pneumatic bones, and fewer number of cervical vertebra. The birds have more number of cervical compared to present day birds. They are having fewer number of cervical vertebra. Presence of cervical and abdominal ribs in addition to thoracic ribs. Present day birds only have a thoracic cage, which is called as a rib, to protect the internal organs, but a reptilian feature, when we discussed the class Reptilia, we saw that they are having both cervical as well as abdominal ribs, and that feature is present in that reptilian feature is present in Archaeopteryx. They are having a weak sternum that is also correlated to their ability to fly. Pygostyle is absent, and epidermal scales are also present more than in normal birds. So that is the salient features or the reptilian features of Archaeopteryx. Coming to the avian features. So the main feature that we consider Archaeopteryx as a bird is the presence of feathers. If feathers were absent, or if the feathers weren't fossilized, this particular fossil might have been considered as a pterosaur, which is a flying reptile. But the presence of feathers is a marked evidence that they are having avian features. So they had feathers, which is considered, or which gave them a status of a connecting link between reptiles as well as birds. Forelimbs were modified into wings, and feathers were only present in the forearm. That is, long feathers were present only in the forearm, and skull bones were seen to be fused. That is also an avian feature, but the bones were not pneumatic bones. The skull bones were fused. Then beak is present, but the major difference with the beak of birds is that it had tooths, which are homodont. Teeth were present. Then a V-shaped furcula was present. That is also an avian feature. Then sternum without a keel, because they didn't have the ability to fly. They had a weak sternum without a keel, and recent evidences suggest that they might have been endothermic like other birds. As we discussed, reptiles are ectothermic animals, and here birds are endothermic. They have an internal body temperature. Here Archaeopteryx is also believed to be endothermic like present day birds. So this is the about the subclass, the first subclass of class Aves, which is Archaeornitis, and we discussed about the example coming under this, which is Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx, which is considered as a connecting link. We discussed about both the features belonging to both the classes being a connecting link, the features of a reptile and the features of a bird. So next is the other subclass, which is the present day birds, Neornitis or Neornitis. We'll discuss this in the next session. Thank you.